Namashreshtam manumapi sachiputram praswarupam rupam tasya grajam murupuram maturam gostavatum radhikundam girivaram aho radhika madhavasam prapto yasya pratita kripaya shri gurum tam natosmi. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya-lila, Chapter 1. Rupa Goswami's meeting with the Lord, and yesterday we were going through verses primarily from Rupa Goswami's Vidagdha Madhava, which is about the loving affairs of Radha Krishna and the gopis, and that they were being recited by Rupa Goswami at the behest of Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai was a playwright, so he was conversant in poetic science, if an art can be described as a science. Poetic style, convention. And so he's asking Rupa Goswami, tell me about your introduction, tell me about how you introduced the players, tell me how you set the scene, etc. And in response to that, Rupa Goswami is describing reciting various verses from his play, his play called the Vidagdha Madhava. And then he does a few from his other play called the Lalita Madhava. And this is all, the wider context here is Mahaprabhu acting to, Jai Gurudev, acting to show to the world the brilliance, show to his close associates the brilliance of Rupa Goswami. And brilliance not just in the compositional sense that Rupa Goswami is a brilliant writer of plays, but that Rupa Goswami is qualified to be the head of Mahaprabhu's school, Mahaprabhu's religion, so to speak. Rupa Goswami becomes the Sampradaya Acharya. He's appointed as such by Mahaprabhu. So that is the context of these meetings in Puri, as described here, between Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. Mahaprabhu brings along his associates, Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Swarup Damodar, to kind of test him, in a sense, but also to show them Rupa Goswami's qualification. And, secondly, to have them bless Rupa Goswami, give him their blessings, to have to get them to also endorse Rupa Goswami in his capacity as the head of the Sampradaya, the person who carries Mahaprabhu's conception forward. So Rupa Goswami says, in your presence, which is just like brilliant sunshine, I am insignificant as the light of a glowworm. So Rupa Goswami is very humble and he's reticent. He doesn't really want to recite his poetry, but he's being coerced to by Mahaprabhu. He's shy. Having heard these verses recited by Rupa Goswami, Ramananda Rai said, your poetic expressions are like continuous showers of nectar. Kindly let me hear the introductory portion of the second drama. So this second drama is called Lalita Madhava, and it's about the pastimes of Krishna in Dwarka. And Rupa says, your presence is like the sunshine, I am like an insignificant glowworm. Tomara age darstriya e mukha vyadana etabali nandi shloka karila vyakhyana. It is even impudent for me to open my mouth before you. Then, having said this, he recited the introductory verse of Lalita Madhava. Surarepu sudrisham urojjakokhan mukha kamalani ke cha kedyan akanda. Chiram akila surish shakora nandi dishatu mukunda yasa sasimudamba. The beautiful moonlight glories of Mukunda give distress to the lotus-like faces of the wives of the demons, and to their raised breasts, which are like gleaming chakravaka birds. Those glories, however, are pleasing to all his devotees who are like chakora birds. May those glories forever give pleasure to you all. Vityanandi kahadeki raya puchila sankocha panarupa paditela gila. When Srila Ramananda Roy further inquired about the second introductory verse, Srila Rupa Goswami was somewhat hesitant, but nevertheless he began to read. Nija pranayitham shuddham udayam apnuvan yakshito kiratyalam urikrita dvija kuladdirajastitihi salunchita tamastatir mamasachi sutakyaha sashi Vasikrita jaganmanaha kimapi sarama vinasyatu. The moon-like Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the son of Mother Sachi, has now appeared on earth to spread devotional love of himself. He is emperor of the Brahmin community. He is the emperor of the Brahmin community. He can drive away all the darkness of ignorance and control the mind of everyone in the world. May that rising moon bestow good upon us all, good fortune. May that rising moon bestow upon us all good fortune. And this is the third verse of Act 1 of the Vidagdha Madhava, the second introductory verse. Suniya Prabhur Yari Antare Ulasa Bahire Kahena Kitchu Kari Rosabasa. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was inwardly greatly pleased when he heard this verse, externally he spoke as if angry. Kanhat Tomara Krishna Rasa Kavya Sudha Sindhu Tara Madhye Mitya Keni Stuti Ksharabindu. Your exalted poetic descriptions of the mellows of Lord Krishna's pastimes are like an ocean of nectar. But why have you put in a false prayer about me? It is like a drop of detestful alkali. Karabindu, an alkali. So, it's also convention in poetry to write a verse glorifying your Ishtadevata. Ishtadevata means your personal deity. So traditionally in the Vedic system you have a personal deity that you worship. And Rupa Goswami's personal deity, of course, is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's got verses glorifying Mahaprabhu. And everyone really wants to hear them. Ramananda Roy, Swarup Damodar, etc. Because they're beautiful verses like this one, just here. And there was another one previously given. But Mahaprabhu, it makes him feel uncomfortable. Or at least, externally he has to show that. So he says, your poetic descriptions of Krishna are great, but this verse about me, it's like a drop of alkali. I mean, this
A drop of what?
Karabindu.
Sorry, a drop of what?
Alkali. Which, there's no explanation given, but I presume it's something, a drop that produces some kind of chemical reaction in a solution to completely change it, and not for the better. You get acid and alkaline, right?
Alkaline,
Acid and alkaline? Yeah.
So that's what they're referring to.
Yeah. So if you get like an acid, causes some kind of chemical reaction. I guess it's the same as if you get milk and you put in a drop of acid, then it curdles. So the same thing would happen if you get something acidic and you put in a drop of alkali. I presume it produces a chemical reaction, spoils it. and Raya Kahe Rupera Kavya Amritera Pura Tara Madhye Ekabindu Diache Karpura. Srila Ramananda Rai objected, it is not alkali at all. It is a particle of camphor he has put in the nectar of his exalted poetic expression. Prabhu kahe Rai tomara ihate ulasa sunite laja loke kare upahasa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Ramananda Rai, you are jubilant at hearing these poetic expressions, but I am ashamed to hear them, for people in general will joke about the subject of this verse. Raya kahe lokera sukha ihara shravane abhista devera smriti mangala charane. Ramananda Rai said, instead of joking, people in general will feel great pleasure in hearing such poetry, for the initial remembrance of the worshipful deity invokes good fortune. Raya kahe konange patrera pravesha tabe rupa goshani kahe tahara vivesha. Ramananda Rai inquired, by which subdivision of style do the players enter? Rupa Goswami then began to speak specifically about this subject. Natata kiratarajam nihatyarangastale kala nidhina samayetena vidheyam gunavati tarakara grahanam. While dancing on the stage after having killed the ruler of uncivilized men, Kamsa, Lord Krishna, master of all arts, will at the proper time accept the hand of Srimati Radharani, who is qualified with all transcendental attributes. Lalita Madhava 1:11. Udgatyaka nama e amukha viti anga tomara age kahe iha dastyera taranga. This introduction is technically called Udgatyaka, and the whole scene is called Viti. You are so expert in dramatic expression that each of my statements before you is like a wave from an ocean of impudence. I'll read some of the purport. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur again quotes the following verse from Sahitya Darpana. So in his purports, Prabhupada is quoted extensively from Saraswati Thakur's commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita, called the Anubhasya, and also from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary, called the Amrita Pravahabhasya. Most of the historical information comes from Saraswati Thakur's Anubhasya, and particularly when it comes to in other parts of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada talks about locations, as in being close to this train station, so many miles from that train station, and almost like a basic instructions on how to get there, what trains to take, what train station to get off. It's not that Prabhupada was going around doing research on this. It was done at the time of Saraswati Thakur. Trains were pretty much the only way to get around India at that time, unless you wanted to use old-fashioned methods, bullock cart or something. The train stations, so they're all listed, and Prabhupada just, you could say, quoted from Anubhasya and Amrita Pravahabhasya. Purport. Thus, the technical names for the 5 kinds of introductory scenes of the drama are listed as Udgatyaka, Katodgata, Pratogatishaya, Pravartaka, and Avalagita. When Srila Ramananda Roy inquired which of these 5 Srila Rupa Goswami had used to accomplish the technical introduction to his drama Lalita Madhava, Rupa Goswami replied that he had used the introduction technically called Udgatyaka. According to Bharata Britti, 3 technical terms used are Prarochana Viti, and Prahasana. Thus, Rupa Goswami also mentioned Viti, which is a technical term for a certain style of expression. So he's quizzing him on various components of his composition. That is, Ramananda Roy is quizzing Rupa Goswami, questioning him. Padani Chavagartati Chavagathartani Tad Artha Gataye Naraha Yo Jiyanti Paderanyai Sa Udgatyaka Uchyate. To explain an unclear word, men generally join it with other words. Such an attempt is called Udgatyaka. Raya Kahe Kaha Age Angera Vishesha Sri Rupa Kahene Kichu Shankcheka Udesha. Ramananda Roy requested Srila Rupa Goswami to speak further about various portions of the play. Srila Rupa Goswami briefly quoted his Lalita Madhava. Harim Udashate Rajo Baraha Purata Sangha Mayat Yamum Tamaha Brajava Madrisham Na Padatahi Prakata Sarva Drisaha Shruterapi. The dust from cows and calves on the road creates a kind of darkness, indicating that Krishna is returning home from the pasture. Also, the darkness of evening provokes the gopis to meet Krishna. Thus, the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis are covered by a kind of transcendental darkness, and are therefore impossible for ordinary scholars of the Vedas to see. Hriyam avargya grihebhya karasati radham vanaya ya nipuna sajayate nishrishtartha vara vamsajja kakaliduti. May the sweet sound of Lord Krishna's flute, his authorized messenger, be glorified, for it expertly releases Srimati Radharani from her shyness and attracts her from her home to the forest. Purport. This verse from Lalita Madhava 124 is spoken by Gargi, the daughter of Garga Muni. Gargi. That's a pretty cool name, huh? Gargi. Sahachari nirantakaha koyam yuvamudira dhyutir brajabhuvi kutaha prapto madhyan matangajavabramaha ahaha chatuler utsapadbir drig anchala taskarer mama driti danam chetaha kosad viluntayatiha yaha. My dear friend, who is this fearless young man? He is as bright as a lightning cloud, and he wanders in his pastimes like a maddened elephant. From where has he come to Vrindavan? Alas, by his restless movements and attractive glances, he is plundering from the vault of my heart the treasure of my patience. Vihara sura dirgika mama manaha karindrasyaya vilochana chakorayo sharad amanda chandra prabha urom bara tatasya chabarana charuttaravali mayonata manuratir yam alambe saradika. Srimati Radharani is the Ganges in which the elephant of my mind enjoys pastimes. She is the shining of the full moon for the chakora birds of my eyes. She is the dazzling ornament, the bright and beautiful arrangement of stars on the border of the sky of my chest. Now, today, I have gained Srimati Radharani because of the highly elevated state of my mind. Etashuni raya kahe prabhura charane rupera kavitva prasamsi sahasravadane. After hearing this, Srila Ramananda Roy submitted at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the super excellence of Sri Rupa Goswami's poetic expression, and began to praise it as if he had 1,000 mouths. Kavitva nahaya e amritera dara nataka lakshana sabha siddhantera sara. Srila Ramananda Roy said, "This is not a poetic presentation. It is a continuous shower of nectar. Indeed, it is the essence of all ultimate realizations, appearing in the form of plays." prema paripati e adbhuta varnana, suni chita karnera haya ananda gunana. The wonderful descriptions of Rupa Goswami are superb arrangements to express loving affairs. Hearing them will plunge the heart and ears of everyone into a whirlpool of transcendental bliss. Kim kavyena kavestasya kim kandena danushmataha parasya hridaye lagnam nagurnayati yashchiraha. What is the use of a bowman's arrow or a poet's poetry if they penetrate the heart but do not cause the head to spin? Tomara shakti vina jivara nahi evani, tumi shakti diya kahau hina anumani. Without your mercy, such poetic expressions would be impossible for an ordinary living being to write. My guess is that you have given him the power. Prabhu kahe prayage ihara haila milana, ihara gune ihati amara tushta hailamana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I met Srila Rupa Goswami at Prayag. He attracted and satisfied me because of his qualities. Madhura prasana ihara kavya salankara, aiche kavitva vinunahi rasera prachara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised the metaphors and other literary ornaments of Srila Rupa Goswami's transcendental poetry. Without such poetic attributes, he said, there is no possibility of preaching transcendental mellows. Sabe kripa kare in hari deha evara, Antya-lila prema rasa yena vani nirantara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all his personal associates to bless Rupa Goswami so that he might continuously describe the pastimes of Vrindavan, which are full of emotional love of Godhead. So all of Mahaprabhu's close associates go on then to bless Rupa Goswami. So he obtains not only the blessings and empowerment. I mean, blessings are empowerment, essentially. The two are synonymous. The blessings of a Vaishnava are subtly empowering. They contain subtle energy. Shakti is energy. And the blessings of the Vaishnava empower one to perform various devotional services. Because essentially devotional service is a combination of one's own desire to perform it and the blessings of the Lord or the Vaishnavas, which give one direction, the intelligence, and the energy to perform devotional service. So sometimes desire is there, desire is essential as the foundational factor. One has to desire it. And the intensity of the desire depends on how much that attracts the mercy, but then the mercy facilitates it. The mercy of the Vaishnavas facilitates it further. So there is engagement, two factors, one's desire and then the response from the higher agents, as Guru Maharaj would say. But the desire comes first. That's why Rupa Goswami himself says, Tat pradolyam apimulyam ekalam. No, it's not Rupa Goswami says that. Mahaprabhu says that, I think. Maybe two Rupa Goswami. Lolyam means hankering, desire, strong desire. So devotional service is obtained through strong desire. But then that desire, what happens as a result of that desire? It elicits a response from the spiritual domain and the revelation of spiritual knowledge and the bestowing of spiritual energy. You have both Divya Gyan and Divya Shakti, spiritual knowledge and spiritual energy. So Mahaprabhu has bestowed this on Rupa Goswami and so has Mahaprabhu's associates. So have his associates. And this also reminds us of Gurudev's pranam mantra, Guru Ganer Ashisa Sambhusidam. A Gana means a group, as a group of associates. So Guru Ganer Ashisa Sambhusidam means that all the Guru and all his associates have bestowed their mercy. This was a composition, actually, you could say, designed or outlined. The outline of the composition was given by Param Gurudev, composing, choosing, selecting the themes to be included in Gurudev's, Srila Govinda Maharaj's pranam mantra. So Guru Ganaya Rashisa Sambhusidam. That, Guru Vabhishta Supurakam, Guru Ganaya Rashisa Sambhusidam. So he has not only got the blessings of his Guru, but of all Guru Ganaya, all the Guru's associates, the Guru's group of friends. Which is very important because we see the exact same theme here happening with Rupa Goswami, who is the head of the Sampradaya. And Gurudev being representative of Rupa Goswami, we can see also he's received the blessings of the central figure, his own Gurudev. So Rupa Goswami has received the blessings of the central figure, Mahaprabhu, and also Mahaprabhu's Gan associates. So it's the same with Gurudev, received the blessings of the central figure, Guru Maharaj, and also all of his associates, as a representative, modern representative of Rupa Goswami. But anyway, that's happening here in this chapter 1 of Antya-lila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all his personal associates to bless Rupa Goswami so that he might continuously describe the pastimes of Vrindavan, which are full of emotional love of Godhead. And the same, again, Guru Maharaj would introduce Gurudev to his associates and ask him, what do you think? Test him, give him your blessings. The exact same thing happening hundreds of years later. And so that he may continuously describe the pastimes of Vrindavan for the benefit of the future generations. Also in Gurudev's case, Bhagavat Premno Hibija Pradam. So that Gurudev can do what? And then Gurudev does what? It's the bestower of the seed of divine love for Krishna. The function. The perpetuation of Krishna consciousness amongst the populace, amongst the disciples, and the future generations. Sri Rupa Pantanugam. Faithful follower in the line of Sri Rupa Goswami. You can see the themes in the verse and the pranam mantra of Gurudev, mirroring themes in the life of Rupa Goswami. In Haraye Jeshta Brata Nama Sanatana Pritivite Vigyavara Nahi Tanrasama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Srila Rupa Goswami's elder brother, whose name is Sanatan Goswami, is such a wise and learned scholar that no one is equal to him. You have to remember that Ramananda Rai, Swarup Damodar, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, all of the Purushottam Kshetra, Jagannath Puri associates of Mahaprabhu, they've never met Rupa and Sanatan before. So this is kind of their first meeting with him. So in that sense, Rupa Goswami is a little bit of an outsider up to this point. He's a little bit younger, 7-8 years younger or so, and new in a sense to the group. But he's being introduced as someone very special, someone to take charge of the Sampradaya, Mahaprabhu's conception of Bhakti and Bhav and Rasa. All of these things that are the very substance of Mahaprabhu's conception. Rupa Goswami is being charged with the responsibility of holding them and representing them to the world. Or actually, if you were practically speaking, putting them down on paper or palm leaf, which it was at that time. Which he did in the form of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Laghu Bhagavatamritam and other books. Rupa Goswami wrote quite a few books. Upadeshamrita, etc., etc. His older brother is Rupa Goswami. Tomara yaiche vishaya tyaga taiche tanrariti danya vairagya pandit yara tanhaite stiti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Roy, Sanatana Goswami's renunciation of material connections is just like yours. Humility, renunciation, and excellent learning exist in him simultaneously. Edui bai ami patailun brindavane Shakti Diya Bhakti Shastra Karite Pravartane. I empowered both of these brothers to go to Vrindavan to expand the literature of bhakti. Raya kahi Ishvara tumi ye chaha karite kastera putale tumi paranachaite. Srila Ramananda Rai replied to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, My Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you like, you can cause even a wooden doll to dance. Mudamukhe ye saba rasa karila pracharane se rasa deke e ihara likane. I see that the truths regarding transcendental mellow that you have expounded through my mouth are all explained in the writings of Srila Rupa Goswami. Ramananda Roy is referring to the Ramananda Samvad. I see that the truths regarding transcendental mellows that you have expounded through my mouth are all explained in the writings of Srila Rupa Goswami. Bhakti kripa hetu prakasite chara brajarasa yare karao se karibe jagat tomaravasa. Because of your causeless mercy toward your devotees, you want to describe the transcendental pastimes of Vrindavan. Anyone empowered to do this can bring the entire world under your influence. Tabe Mahaprabhu Kaila Rupe Alingana Tanre Karaila Sabara Charana Vandana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Rupa Goswami and asked him to offer prayers at the lotus feet of all the devotees present. Advaita Nityanandadi Sababhakta Gana Kripakare Rupe Sabe Kaila Alingana. Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, and all the other devotees showered their causeless mercy to Rupa Goswami by embracing him in return. Prabhu Kripa Rupe Ara Rupera Sadguna Deke Chamatkara Haila Sabakara Mana. Stupafacente. Seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy towards Srila Rupa Goswami and seeing his personal qualities, all the devotees were struck with wonder. So this is the point where they realize that Rupa Goswami is receiving some very special mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tabe Mahaprabhu Saba Bhaktalana Gela Haridasa Thakura Rupe Alingana Kaila. Then when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left with all his devotees, Haridas Thakur also embraced Srila Rupa Goswami. Haridasa Kahe Tomara Bhagyera Nahi Sima Ye Saba Varnila Ihara Kejane Mahima. Haridas Thakur told him, there is no limit to your good fortune. No one can understand the glories of what you have described. And in the next chapter, we will hear a description of the glories of Haridas Thakur. Chapter 2, Antya-lila. I think it's chapter 2. No, not chapter 2 then. Chapter 2 is the chastisement of Junior Haridas. Is it chapter 3? Yes, chapter 3, the glories of Haridas Thakur. So that's coming up. Shri Rupa Kahena Ami Kichu Najani Ye Mahaprabhu Kahana Se Kahivani. Shri Rupa Goswami said, I do not know anything. The only transcendental words I can utter are those which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes me speak. So they see it as empowerment by Mahaprabhu, which essentially you could say it is, but a person is qualified to be empowered. So it's both. Same was expressed by Ramananda Roy just a few verses ago. I see the truths of transcendental mallow that you have expounded through my mouth. So again, attributing it to Mahaprabhu, saying that it's you that have expounded it, using me simply as a vehicle for expression. Hridi yasya praranaya pravartito hambarakarupe rupope tasya hare parakamalam vande Chaitanya devasya. Although I am the lowest of men and have no knowledge, the Lord has mercifully bestowed upon me the inspiration to write transcendental literature about devotional service. Therefore, I offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given me the chance to write these books. There's an introductory verse to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Purport, it says, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1:1-2, the second verse. The first verse is Akila Rasamrita Murti Prasrimada Uchiruta Tarakapali E Mata Dui Jana Krishna Katarange Suke Kala Gonaya Rupa Haridasa Sange. In this way, Srila Rupa Goswami passed his time in close association with Haridas Thakur by discussing the pastimes of Lord Krishna in great happiness. Chari Masa Rahi Sabha Prabhura Bhakta Gana Goshani Vidaya Dila Gode Karila Gamana. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus spent 4 months with him. Then the Lord bade them farewell, and they returned to Bengal. Sri Rupa Prabhu Pade Nila Chale Rahila Dola Yatra Prabhu Sange Anande Dikila. Srila Rupa Goswami, however, stayed at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when the Dol Yatra festival took place, he saw it in great happiness with the Lord. Dola Anantare Prabhu Rupe Vidaya Dila Aneka Prasada Kare Shakti Sancharila. After the Dol Yatra festival ended, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to Rupa Goswami also. The Lord empowered him and bestowed upon him all kinds of mercy. Brindavane yaha tume rahiha brindavane ekabara ihan prathaina sanatane. Now go to Vrindavan and stay there, the Lord said. You may send here your elder brother Sanatan. Prajayai rasa shastra kariha nirupana lupta tirtha sabatahan kariha pracharana. When you go to Vrindavan, stay there, preach transcendental literature, and excavate the lost holy places. Krishna Seva Rasa Bhakti Kariha Prachara Amiha Dekiti Tahan Yaimu Ekabara. Establish service of Lord Krishna and preach the mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. I shall go to Vrindavan once more. Etabali Prabhu Tanre Kaila Alingana Rupa Goswami Siddhe Dare Prabhu Racharana. Of course, Mahaprabhu didn't end up going to Vrindavan again. Having thus spoken, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Rupa Goswami, who then placed the lotus feet of the Lord upon his head. Prabhura Bhakta Gana Pase Vidaya Laila Punarapi Gauda Pate Vrindavana Aila. Srila Rupa Goswami took leave of all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and returned to Vrindavan by the path to Bengal. Eta kahilana punaha rupera milana ihaye shuni paya Chaitanya Charana. Thus I have described the second meeting of Rupa Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone who hears of this incident will certainly attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Padayara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahi Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. So, Mahaprabhu's instructions to the Goswamis is to preach the transcendental literature, which means write it and teach it, put it on paper, codify it, organize it, compile it into books, and teach it. And also locate the lost holy places. Establish service to Krishna, to Lord Krishna, which was done, formalized in the temple worship of the Vrindavan temples. All of the Goswamis had their own temples. Most of them did, save for Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakti. So we'll read a brief subchapter from Revealed Truth by Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj. Emotion and devotion. Question: can you please explain how we can avoid confusing emotion with devotion? Srila Govinda Maharaj: sometimes we are practicing and serving emotionally. That means we are blindly following our mind's idea of what is good and bad. Sometimes our mind tells us something is good, and we follow that idea of our mind. Acting in that way, we do many things emotionally, but those activities may only be shubha karma, pious acts. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They will not be actual devotion. Srila Guru Maharaj gave an example. Gurudev may perform puja and order us bring some water. We will then bring some water to Gurudev. But Gurudev may suddenly change his order and say, "Oh, water is not necessary now. Bring some flowers." If we say to Gurudev, "You ordered me to bring some water. I have followed your order to bring you water," and we give Gurudev that water, then our action will be shubha karma. It will not be devotion. With primary enthusiasm, we may want to do more and more service to Guru Vaishnav, but in the primary stage, we won't be attentive to see whether our service is appropriate, to see whether it is actually pleasing to Guru Vaishnav, to see whether it is what they actually want. In the primary stage, we do not consider these things and only think that our own activity will take us to a higher position. We do not consider how and why the advice of Guru Vaishnav is coming to us. Actual devotion means trying to satisfy Guru Vaishnav according to their instructions. A proper and attentive mood of devotion is to always keep our eyes open to see if what we are doing is really satisfying to our master or not. Gurudev has told us, chant Hare Krishna. But if I am in a place where Gurudev is discussing something important with some Vaishnavas, and I begin making noise, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, then that is not chanting in a mood of devotion. Devotional mood means considering whether Gurudev is happy or not with our activity. It is true that Gurudev has ordered us chant Hare Krishna loudly, but it is always necessary to consider the place, time and circumstances, and then wisely try to do service. This is devotion. Rather than a literal interpretation of instruction, one can use their common sense, understand the principle, the reason for the instruction. Then once someone understands the reason behind the instruction, the purpose of it, then they can know when it should be applied, to what extent, when it shouldn't be applied, etc. Because they know the reason behind the instruction, rather than just the literal instruction. I remember being on a bus. It was actually in New Zealand, in Auckland, on a bus, and there was this one. I was just dressed in normal clothes, not in a dhoti or anything. I just hopped on the bus. And I'm like, there's someone chanting Hare Krishna on the bus. And there was a a brahmachari dressed in saffron sitting on the back seat of the bus, higher up, and he's chanting really loudly, Hare Krishna, chanting his japa, Hare Krishna, and the bus is going like on a journey out into the suburbs. It's like an hour journey, and he's there, Hare Krishna, he's purifying the whole bus, you see. Hare Krishna, and everyone's like, some people are like blocking their ears. And it's having a counterproductive effect, right? Because people think this guy's just an absolute Fruit Loop cult member. Doing his robotic, self-programming on the back of the bus. And he's thinking he's purifying the whole bus. But it's kind of so that, the literal injunction, the literal instruction is, yes, chant Hare Krishna loudly for the benefit of the living beings in the environment. But there's also an injunction, do not preach to the faithless, which basically means that preach to people that want to hear it, that will be benefited from hearing it. Otherwise, they're going to reject it, and the net effect, the ultimate effect, will be counterproductive, will be unbeneficial. But, and like Gurudev is saying, in the beginning stages, you just see the literal instruction. Chant Hare Krishna for the benefit of the people around you. It says, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Everyone's like, come on, man. But if you understand the reasoning behind it, why are you chanting Hare Krishna? Because if a person is able to appreciate that, then it can have a purifying effect on the environment. Or maybe for at a certain level of purification, then that chanting will have a purifying effect on the environment. Even for the trees and for the animals, etc., that will be exposed to it. But of course, that is of a much higher level. If we look at Mahaprabhu in the Jharkhand forest, that's the what is it? Apotheosis. The ultimate stage of that, the ultimate expression of that, like the pinnacle of that, where Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. And his presence, his chanting, is causing the animals to dance and the creepers we read of Mahaprabhu's journey through Vrindavan, the creepers to change and move and ooze their sap, and the animals and the deer are prancing and embracing each other. That's the effect of real Krishna Nam. Whereas the guy on the bus, he's not quite having that effect. So there's that consideration. In addition to the consideration of, are they able to appreciate it? And if they're not, then you have to reconsider your literal application of that instruction of chant to purify the environment. If it's not purifying the environment, then you're not fulfilling the purpose of that instruction. But a person with only an appreciation of the literal instruction, not the principle behind the instruction or the reason behind it, is unable to think that deep. So it's just like, let's chant, purify the environment. That used to happen in ISKCON in the 70s quite a lot. I remember my father telling me. They would go into places where they were really not welcome, but they would go in loud with wampas and a couple of mridangas, really loud. And people wanted to have a quiet picnic. Hare Krishna! So they got a reputation of just being these wild cult members. Yet they thought they were doing, spreading Mahaprabhu's movement and purifying the atmosphere and pushing, their waves of Sankirtana, just pushing the anatas out of everyone they come in contact with. Anyway. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopal Bhakta Das Raghunatha Echai Goshai Kori Charana Bandana Hoite Vignana Sabista Purana Echai Goshai Yanamuni Tanudasa Pansabara Pararenu Mora Panchagrasa Padara Charara Sevi Bhakti Sari Basa Janame Mora Eya Vilasa Sundar Radha Ki Jai, Jai Vishnu Pajla Bhakti Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Vishnu Pajla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Vishnu Pajla Bhakti Rakha Srila Dev-Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Vishnu Pajla Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Guru Varg Ki Jai, Jai Vishnu Pajla A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Namaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai, Namaveda Bhakti Brinda Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat West London Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Hari Bol.